Hey guys, it's Bear. It's Friday, April 17th, and this is the Life of T-Men Week 3, and this week we're talking about coming out. Next week we're going to talk about acceptance, so I'm literally just going to tell you how I went about coming out. I was still struggling with trying to decide whether or not I was trans enough to come out as such, and did I want to approach transitioning medically, what did that mean to me, etc. And I decided to move forward and sort of kind of experiment with a few things about, moving away from being identified as a female and into being identified as a male, or identifying as a male. And one of those things was to go around and ask people to stop using my birth name. So that was sort of phase one, because like I said before, my birth name is incredibly girly, and I've had the nickname Bear for a really long time, which I consider to be masculine. And not everybody was using it. A lot of people were, but not everybody was. And so I went around and I just explained to people in a lot of individual conversations, why I wanted to move away from being called my birth name, and could they please, try to get used to calling me Bear. And that went pretty well. I had to have a more, direct conversation with a couple people, or repeat that conversation with a couple people, but eventually they kind of got that it was really important, and enough to start checking themselves. So that was I started doing that at the end of June last year, and continued that through July and August. And it was, I guess I actually, come to think of it, I continued that for a while. It wasn't until October of last year that I finally actually accepted that I was trans and said out loud, okay, I'm transgender, and what do I want to do about it? And that's when I started actually really telling people. In the interim there, I talked to some people about the fact that I was questioning and so forth. I did a lot of soul searching. I started seeing a therapist. I started talking to my old therapist, actually, and then I started seeing a new therapist who specializes in gender stuff. So I finally, in October, decided, that's it. I'm trans enough. I want to live as a male, and decided to try to tell my family first, before going really public with it. So I had those conversations over a couple of weekends. I talked to my sister first. My sister's been really cool. I'll get more into acceptance later. And then I talked to my mom, and I was scared to talk to my dad. And then I went kind of public with it. I actually kind of wrote a piece about coming out over the years, as having come out before as being bisexual or gay, and that was in my 20s, and then now moving forward and coming out as transgender. I'd written this piece, and I made a video where I basically just held up that piece, and I put it on Facebook, and that's how the majority of people in my life found out. And that was, of course, followed up with many individual conversations of people kind of coming up to me and being like, what does that mean? Or, good for you, I support you, or not. Not, I didn't have a lot of that. Again, that's next week. That was it. I was out. The majority of people that I'm actually kind of friendly with, I'm in contact with on Facebook. A couple people that I'm not, those people kind of already knew, So I hit everybody in kind of one big go. And then there's been the kind of follow-up conversations where you see somebody and you have to kind of figure out whether or not they knew or had seen it, or whatever, or had been spoken to. So I've had a couple of things where I've talked to people and let them know, and that's been it. I've been out since then, and next week we'll talk about acceptance. Thanks for watching, guys.